第12课对话2 which is at the end of page 34。张天明说我爸爸说他小时候在南京很少看到外国人，很少 means rarely seldom 看到 means see 很少看到外国人。可是现在你看，到处都有外国游客游客means tourist are here can be placed at the end of a declarative sentence to emphasize the speaker's intention to explain or remind. Here, Zhang Tianmin want to explain that Nanjing has a huge change, so he used at the end. Actually, we already know end. When you were in Chinese 101 lesson 6, I think, when somebody make a request, you say 好啊，好的，好啊。So it ends the same here. But later in the next few slides, we will talk more about But here we'll just stop here. Just here to explain. Here is to emphasize the speaker's intention to explain or remind. 好，丽莎说，我们不也是两个老外吗？不吗 is a rhetorical question. And we are also two foreigners. Foreigners, we can say 外国人, but usually Chinese people call foreigners, they just say 老外. It is slang to say, they don't have a negative meaning. So if you hear someone call you 老外, just accept it in a pleasant way. Don't think it is a negative way to say it, 老外. Here, I also have a story here. When I was in Korea, study abroad in Korea, because Korean people and Chinese people, they look quite similar. So when I see some European or Americans in Korea, I also will say, oh, see, there are foreigners there. But my friends say, hey, don't forget, you are also a foreigner in Korea because you are Chinese. 你也是老外呀，就你不也是老外吗？ So when I read here, I think, oh, I have the same story when I'm back in Korea. Okay, and then Lisa say, 我们不也是两个老外吗？哈哈，哈哈 is the sound of laughter, means laughing loud. 你看马路对面，美国快餐店、日本银行、法国服装店。So you look, the opposite side of the road, 马路对面有什么呀？有the American fast food store, fast food restaurant. 快餐 is fast food. 日本银行 Japanese bank, and 法国means France or French. 服装 means clothing or apparel. 法国服装店。好 I think it is easy to understand the dialogue here, but I would like to explain more about the modal particle it is common, especially in spoken Chinese, to place a particle at the end of sentence in order to convey a particular emotion. Among such particles, is the most frequently used, and it can express a wide range of emotions. Here, we will talk about 4 examples. The first one is, can be used in exclamatory sentences. For example, later, you will read a sentence in lesson 12. 看起来南京人真的是想尽可能保留老南京的特色，老南京的传统It seems like that Nanjingers really do want to preserve the character and the traditions of old Nanjing as much as possible. Then it ends with the here to heighten the effect of what she's saying. Okay, but sometimes you can see wa, na, or ya, but actually they are the same as why the changes to different characters? Because the pronunciation of the particle is sometimes influenced by the preceding syllable. If the preceding syllable ends with o or u, it can sound like, or it can be written as wa. For example, 你的字写 oh sorry, here's a typo here. It shouldn't be this 的。I'll change here. This should be different 的。It should be this 的。Okay, 你的字写得多好啊。Actually, it is the same as 多好啊, but 好 ends with all, so R changes to 哇。But you can also say 多好啊，多好啊。Another rule is that if it is after an, R can sound like or be written as 那。For example, 这里的青菜好新鲜，鲜 Xian ends with an, so R changes to 那，好新鲜呐。But actually, you can also say 好新鲜啊。Both work. If it is after it is pronounced as 啊。For example, 你听，鞭炮多响，响 Xiang 多响啊。We don't you can say 多响啊 but usually people just say 多响啊，多响啊，多响啊。Really loud. Okay, the last one. After 我一 wu is here. Wu changes to 哇 except for 乌 R changes to 呀 ya can be used in place of R for ease of pronunciation. For example, 雨下得多大呀？雨下得多大？大 ends with R. 多大呀？ Wow, it is really pouring. The rain is really pouring. Okay, here the first sound function is R can be used in exclamatory sentences to heighten the effect of what the speaker is saying. Next, the second one, R can be placed at the end of a declarative sentence to emphasize the speaker's intention to explain or remind. In previous lesson, in lesson 11, Zhang Tian, I think Ke asked why people cannot eat all of the fish, and Jiujiu explained, 年年有余，年年有余呀。Actually, although it here written as 呀, actually it is the same as because 鱼 ends with 鱼, so it changes with 呀. So, but here, what is the meaning of 呀 here? The same as is to explain, because 年年有余，年年有余, so we don't eat them all. Another example here in this dialogue, 张天明 says, 可是现在你看到处都有外国游客啊。To emphasize, 张天明 want to explain, there's a huge change in Nanjing everywhere. There's foreign tourists everywhere. Okay, this is the second one, to explain or to remind. The third one, can have a softening effect. No matter it is be placed at the end of yes-no question, or affirmative question, or alternative question, or imperative sentence. But it all has a softening effect. For example, the first one, it can be placed at the end of a yes-no question. Used in this way, usually it expresses the speaker's skepticism or surprise and make the speaker's tone slightly more gentle. For example, 明天你给我们上课啊? I'm surprised. Oh, you will teach us tomorrow. 你给我们上课啊? Or 小马 laser pointing. 小马不去哈尔滨啊? You thought 小马 will go, but actually 小马 would not go. So I'm kind of surprised. 不去哈尔滨 because 滨 ends with ne, so ne the R changes to na. 不去哈尔滨啊? But it's saying you want to express your surprise, but at the end it is more gentle. It can also soften the affirmative question or alternative question. For example, 谁呀? Somebody if knock your door, you want to say who is that? If you say 谁, it's quite rude. For example, if somebody knock your door at 2 a.m. and you think, oh, who is that? You can say 谁? However, if it's 2 p.m., it is in the daytime, everybody may knock your door. You want to be polite and soft the tone. You can just say, 谁呀? Another example is, 我们什么时候走啊? If you are angry, we can say, 什么时候走? If you are urgent, you're angry. Why you are so slow? 什么时候走? But if you say 什么时候走啊? To soften the tone. 你怎么不说话呀? Why you are not speaking? 我们是看电影还是听音乐呀? To soften the question. Last one, it can tone down an imperative sentence. For example, be careful. 小心点儿. Actually, 点儿 also already softened the tone. Also soften the tone. 小心, watch out. Be careful. But if you want to soften the tone, you can say 小心点儿啊. Or pay attention. 注意啊. Or don't get upset. I'm just joking. 我只是开个玩笑，别急呀. You tone down an imperative sentence. Okay, the last one is can sometimes convey urgency. For example, 大家都等着听你的意见，你怎么不说话？说呀 Say something. 说呀 This is the last function of but actually there's more. But I think currently we already learned 4. Can be used in exclamatory sentences to heighten what you speak, or can be placed at the end of a declarative sentence to emphasize speaker's intention to explain or remind, or can soften the tone, or sometimes can convey urgency. Okay, that's the summary of and this is also the end of dialogue 2 in lesson 12.